What's up, Skid Kids? So it's another day for another episode, and today we are tackling the timing belt, which is a big job, but we're gonna get it done. It's not too bad. Basically, I've already removed the radiator and the hood just to get like the simple stuff out of the way. That's stuff anyone could do. I don't need to show you a how-to video on that. But basically, what's gonna happen is first main step is going to be setting the motor at top dead center. And I'll show you how to do that here in a minute. And then once it's set to top dead center, we're gonna loosen the crank bolt, pulley bolt loose. And from there, it's pretty simple. Basically, we're just gonna pull the crank bolt pulley off, take this belt off. I think the water pump does have to come off. I'm not too sure. We're gonna get there eventually. And then take the cam gears out too, because I have cam seals. So basically, just every belt and pulley on the front is gonna come off. Nothing too bad. Letting the radiator drain the rest of its coolant, or the engine, on the engine side. Let the coolant flow out a little bit longer. But yeah, it should be pretty simple. I'm just gonna walk you through it. This is gonna be my first timing belt too, so there's gonna be times where I don't really know what I'm doing, but I'll be on the farms a lot and just hope that it goes okay. It should. Don't look too bad. So yeah, guys, I hope you enjoy it, and hopefully it goes pretty smooth. Alright, so now I've got everything dripped off. I got this main cover off in the front. It's just for 10mm bolts. But I'm going to have to set the motor at top dead center now. And they are 2 pins here and here. I don't know if you can see that. But basically they need to line up with this mark here. And this mark here. So this pin, they both have to be at the 12 o'clock position. And then of course your crank bolt is going to be at a certain position too, but you have to make sure it's at the compression stroke, so as the piston is traveling up and gets to its very peak point on cylinder number 1, that is top dead center. And another way to tell also is there's going to be a little pin knocked out of the crank pulley, and you have to match it up with the 0 on the cover. So that's pretty easy. This isn't all oil. I sprayed it with degreaser, but there is a big oil leak down in there. I did buy cam seals to replace 2. But basically next is going to be putting the motor in top dead center, and to do that I'm going to be pulling all these spark plugs just so it has no compression to fight, so it's easier for the motor to turn over. Make sure it's in neutral, and just going to keep turning the motor until it's in top dead center. Alright, so I'm ready to turn the motor by hand. Make sure the car is in neutral because this all is connected together. So make sure your car is in neutral, and actually bring the e-brake off too, because that's actually all connected through the drive shaft and the clutch. So now you can put a 17mm bolt on the front of the motor and be able to turn it until you get to top dead center. So I'm ready to turn the motor, and another cool trick you can actually do is stick a really long screwdriver in the first cylinder position, and as you turn the motor, you can actually see, I can get the screwdriver in there. You can see the screwdriver is actually going to fall as the piston goes down. So that way, you know when the cylinder comes up on its compression stroke, it'll be at top dead center, because you know the cylinder's coming up on its compression stroke and on its exhaust stroke. Because that notch on the 0, of course it comes around twice before it comes back to top dead center, because actually these things spin 2 times faster. Or I believe the crank spins 2 times faster than these, or vice versa, something like that. So something is always matched once before it actually gets to top dead center. Alright, now that I got some of the other accessories out of the way, I think I'm ready to try and break the crank pulley loose and pull the pulley off, which in turn will probably move this out of time, so we're going to have to loosen it and tighten it and then put it back on top dead center, then take it off for the final time, just to make sure we're all accurate and in line. So yeah, let's try it out. Alright guys, so I actually just broke it loose. It honestly wasn't super tight, almost like it had been off before probably at one point. Maybe this car's had a timing belt change at one point. It does have, you know, close to 200,000 miles. I would hope it did have a timing belt change at one point. But now you can actually see the belt. You can see how dry rotted it is and like really loose. Just the tension just honestly isn't that good. So we'll be continue taking this apart. Now we got the crank bolt off. Now that I'm gonna retighten it just enough so I can break it loose the second time without moving anything, and I'm gonna have to put this back on top dead center again because put the camera down there. You can see that the notch is actually on 10 degrees now, and it was on 0, and 0 is top dead center when the piston and cylinder number 1 is at the complete top. Alright, now that we got the crank bolt loose and off, basically, oh, I keep dropping that, dang it. I rented this pulley puller from AutoZone. These are free. You have to put a $75 deposit on it, but you get your money back as soon as you turn it back in. So it works good. This is a Chrysler one. I think this is going to work the best over the traditional one. So if you do this to your 4A, make sure you get the Chrysler bolt or pulley puller from AutoZone. I think it's going to work the best. Basically, you're going to have this. Let me lay this down here. You're going to have this main screw here, and it's going to go through the front, and then this little pin goes in the front of the bolt. And it's actually going to push up against your crank, and then as it pushes against the crank, you turn this for your teeth to grab around the pulley, and then it's going to pull the pulley off as you tighten this down. Alright, so now you can see how I have the puller set up. Basically, it's just a big nut with that little rod that goes up against the crank, and then these teeth grab on all 3 corners on each side of the pulley. Basically, all you got to do is tighten this, and then in theory, it should just pull the pulley off as you grab it. Pretty simple. Alright, now you see me take the pulley off, and I took this cover off, and now what we're left with is the keyway for the pulley, and you have this bottom crank gear, I guess is what you would call it. There's also a little mark there with a little nick in the very, I doubt you can see that, it's really hard to see from me too, but it's saying it's in top dead center still, which is awesome. I'll clean all this up once I get the belt off and have some time to focus on cleaning all this stuff up. But now we're ready to loosen the belt here. And what that will do is break the tension off, and then we'll be able to slide the belt off. And I'm also going to be running no rear cover, I think, just so I can run this open, and then we'll be able to tell top dead center from this. And then another way to tell top dead center is that screwdriver trick, and then also your rotor inside your distributor needs to be towards spark plug 1. So if I would put the cap back on the rotor, number 1 would be right there. And that's it. So now we're going to pull the belt off and start going the opposite direction, I guess. Well, we got to take the cam gears out because we're going to do cam seals too. But other than that, we're starting to head back towards the other direction to putting stuff back together rather than taking it apart. Alright, so little trick here is this star looking bolt. You're like, well, you know, like what size is that? It's some star type. It's a Torx bolt. It's actually just a, I guess a 12 point, 10 millimeter. You can't use a one of these because it only has 6 points inside. It's more of like a hexagonish size shape, as in this is like a bunch of little different points, and it's kind of, I don't know what you call it. They call them 12 point sockets. or 12 point. Almost every wrench is a 12 point. So basically then you can stick that on here and loosen this. I've already taken the spring off, so that should loosen all the tension on the belt. Just like that. So now there is absolutely no tension on the belt whatsoever. So now it's able to come off now. Oh, I already dropped it, of course. And there's the old timing belt. Junk. Cool. Alright, next is I'm going to remove the cam gear bolts so I can take the cam gears off, because I do have cam seals so they don't leak. They don't tend to be leaking, but since I bought them, it's just nice to change them. What does seem to be leaking is it is definitely oil, so I would only assume it would have to be the crank front main seal is what you would call that. But I'm going to just clean it up and hope that it doesn't leak. And then now that it leaks down here, I'm hoping that the new timing belt won't splash around. I hope it stays down here and I can keep it controlled until I get one of those. Alright, so we just got the, here I'm going to get the light here. We just got the cams off, cam bolts, the timing plate cover, I guess you would call that. And you can tell that the cam seals are just covered in oil and leaking like crazy. So that's definitely part of our oil leak. I think the main seal is probably shot, but of course I don't have that, so we're not going to do that. But definitely we'll be doing lots of cleaning, trying to maybe look to see where I can put this wiring harness to maybe reroute it, but we'll look more into that. Alright, now that I got some of it cleaned up, I'm ready to pull the cam seals out, and I think I'm simply just going to get like a pick and pull them out and pry them out, because the new ones simply just get pressed in over top that. So not a big job at all. Might be a pain in the ass, but I guess we're going to see how it goes. Sorry about the lighting too, it's just working at night and just no lights, but I want to get this done, so it's just going to have to do, guys. I'm sorry. Eventually I'll get better lights and a better camera, but for now we're just working with what we got. Alright, so it's actually been about an hour since my last update. I didn't really have time to record it just because I'm getting tired, but basically I have both cam seals in. They are a pain in the ass to get in. If you have to do them, I'm sorry, but they suck. Basically what I did, here's the old seal, so you can see how like gross and chewed up that is. The light on, see how gross and chewed up the inside ring is. Almost nothing left of it. But basically what I did was just took a Allen key, which is now destroyed, and what I did was I just kept prying and prying until it eventually popped out. These, because they actually have a steel, I don't know if you can hear that, it's like usually like a steel outside, so they don't bend like a normal like O-ring would, where you can just stick a T behind it and pull it out. But once they went out, the new ones went in fairly easy. I used like a little chisel just to tap them in real slowly and work my way around. It seemed to work pretty good. Just so that's the cam seals done. Now basically what I have to do now is clean a lot. I think I'm gonna wait till tomorrow till it's light out so I can have some more time and more light. I gotta paint some stuff. I'm not gonna show you all that. I'm gonna paint the cam gears and paint covers and pulleys and all that junk. So yeah, guys, we'll update you more in the morning. We'll be able to work with it more and show off some more video footage. I hate recording at night because it always comes out like crap. Alright guys, so it's the next day. Nice and shiny new day. But basically I got the cam seals in. I think I explained that last night. But before I get any further though, I'm going to take the valve covers off and paint them, just because it's going to be easier with all this stuff off, because you do have to like silicone this part right here. So if I can take them off, it'll give me more room to clean areas too, and then it'll also make it look 1,000 times better. So I do have new valve cover gaskets that I ordered. So I'm going to rip the valve covers off and just paint them up and make them look good. Alright guys, so we got the cam gears torqued down. It was 34 foot-pounds or 46 Newton meters if you're in a metric country. It's time to throw the new belt on because that's the next step, and then we're gonna finish by putting the tensioner back on, the crank pulley, and some of those shim buckets. But it's pretty straightforward and opposite of what you've taken off. So yeah, let's start. Alright, once you've got everything clocked in, the top dead center, these two little tiny divots here on the very one tooth has to be lined up with this right here and this lined up here. And of course your crank, what you should do is tension the belt and then make the motor do a couple revolutions and come back and make sure you're still on top dead center. If it's not, that means you're either off a tooth, is usually what that means. Just one tooth usually is what people are off by. This one looks, I mean, I look like I'm pretty dang close to being on top dead center. So I'm just going to do a couple revolutions with the motor and just make sure though. Perfect. Alright, so we're in top dead center because everything's lining up pretty good and the rotor is still on cylinder number 1, meaning that piston is at its full top position. Alright, now that we got the serpentine belt on, we're going to move up to ignition, and we're just going to throw the spark plugs in and the cap and the rotor that I took off. Well, the rotor's still here. I'm going to put the cap back on and stick the spark plugs back on. And we might be able to ready to just fire it just for like a quick second with no coolant in it, just to make sure it runs, you know, actually runs, I guess. Alright guys, so I got the radiator in, I got everything on time. I think I'm going to try and start it, just see how it goes. I hope that it's on time. If not, then we're screwed. But I'm going to hook up the battery, then we're going to try and start it and see what happens. Alright guys, so I guess you could say here goes nothing, right? Seems to be running pretty good. I think we're pretty good. I think we're in time, actually. Surprisingly, it's actually idling rated at 1,000. I think it's just kind of cold, that's why it's kind of misfiring a little bit. So I'm gonna let it warm up for a little bit and just make sure it's running good, and then maybe later tonight I'll give like a complete recap on how it's running and everything. So it was actually misfiring a little bit, and that's because I actually forgot to plug this back in. Look at that. Runs better as soon as I did that. Just gonna check all these vacuum lines, make sure they're on pretty good. Alright guys, so it's the next day again. Yesterday we got it running and started, and it was running super rich. So my best guess was that the actual timing at the distributor is actually off just slightly. Obviously when you put it on top dead center, it's not perfect every time. So what we're going to do, or what I just got back from the store from, is I bought a timing light. And this lets you, this is like 30 bucks at AutoZone or Harbor Freight. Everyone has one. Even Walmart has these. But basically what this does is this clips around your spark plug number 1 or cylinder number 1. And then that creates a pulse every time the rotor and the distributor passes it. It fires, and that fires this. These go on your battery for power. And then this strobes every time cylinder number 1 actually has a, it fires every time the number 1 cylinder is fired. So what that does is it lights up your crank pulley. So it actually is able to read what your timing is at. And I believe on the 86s, I'm going to look this up before I start, is you want 10 degrees at idle and 16 degrees under throttle. So we're going to do some research, and then we're going to toss this baby on and set the timing. Alright guys, so the first step to setting your ignition timing is you have to put your ECU in the diagnostics mode, and if you come back here to your firewall, there's a diagnostics like little pin readout clip thing. But basically what you have to do is you have to set your ECU into diagnostics mode, and to do that you have to jump T and E1 together, and there actually is, you won't be able to see it probably, but there's a diagram in there. But just basically it is this one, so stick wire in there and then bend your wire. Oh, I'm gonna have to get a smaller wire, but it's gonna be this one here. It's gonna be hard to see. It's gonna be this one here and then this one here. T, E1. And you have to jump those together, as in just putting a wire, the same wire in both those holes, to like basically bridge or connect those two, and that'll put your ECU into diagnostics mode. Alright, once you get your wire spliced in, it'll look something like this, and that'll put your ECU in diagnostics mode. And you do this because basically if it's not in that and you start adjusting your distributor, basically the ECU has a advanced mode or something. It's going to be changing itself within the ECU while you're doing that. That locks that in place, so you can set your base ignition timing without the ECU wanting to change it. Because every time you would change a distributor, actually once you stop moving it and look at your timing mark, it would actually still be either somewhere where you started or like something off of what you're not adjusting. So you have to set your ECU in diagnostics mode. Alright guys, we're basically pretty set up here to check ignition timing. I have the timing light probe on cylinder number 1 spark plug. I have my power to my positive on my battery and the ground to the ground on the battery. All I got to do is plug this into the bottom of this and turn it on. I've also, I don't know if you guys can see this, but I've also painted the mark on the crank pulley for ignition timing white, so as the strobe lights it up, I'm hoping it'll be easier to see. And I've actually just checked what my timing is at now, and it's actually 5 degrees. I would say, I gotta look at the mark again. I believe it's 5 degrees too far. Well, it's 5, 0, and then 5 again, and 10. And I'm at the 5 on the very right, so I'm actually like 15 degrees off when I'm supposed to be, because I'm supposed to be 10 degrees before top dead center. I am 5 degrees after top dead center. And basically what this causes is the car runs really rich, so basically by turning it back, we're leaning it out, but we're getting it right in that power zone that we need to be at, because the car is kind of struggling at lower RPMs to get moving or to even just like rev up. So moving that back will definitely get us where we're supposed to be. You're also going to want to use a 12mm wrench, and you're going to have to use that to loosen the distributor. so that you can actually rotate the whole thing so you can adjust timing. Now I've just loosened the distributor. Now you're able to see that I can actually rotate it. I don't know if you can see that. Just a little bit. I'm not going to move it too much. I want to stay where I'm at right now. About there. So that's what you actually turn as your timing light's going off to adjust your timing as it spins. Alright, so we're officially ready to start the car. I put the e-brake up just so it doesn't move around. Oh, got pushing the clutch. Ugh. Now we're ready to set some base ignition timing. So actually I got pretty lucky in just moving the distributor around to show you guys how to move the distributor. I actually lined it up perfectly. I really doubt you can see that, but basically it is right on 10 degrees before top dead center. And actually once you pull the diagnostics wire out, it'll actually go up to 16. So we're gonna have to watch that once we pull it out. But basically it's set already. You would just turn this to change it. I think I went to the right to go back towards top dead center. So yeah, so now all we got to do now is tighten the distributor, and I'm going to recheck it after that to make sure I didn't move the distributor when I went to tighten the bolts. And that's basically it. And then pull the diagnostics thing out and make sure it's at 16. Alright guys, so I tightened the distributor, I pulled my wire out, closed my cap, and when I checked timing again, it was 15 degrees before top dead center, which is perfect. So that's right where Toyota wants it. Oh, I almost spilled all that coolant. Right now I'm just letting this coolant, let the thermostat open, and because I had the radiator out of it, I want to burp the system and all that junk, you know, the usual. So that's basically it, guys. That was how to change a timing belt on a 4AGE. That was how to set base ignition timing and tricking the ECU. Pretty simple job, honestly. If you were to do any timing belt on a car, I would suggest this one because it's super easy. I mean, even I was intimidated by it because I had never dove into something like this before. But pretty simple, pretty straightforward, no big deal. Just take your time and check everything twice, and that's basically it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode. There's gonna be more to come. So trying to get on the track again soon. I think the car is slowly getting ready. Just all I need to really do now is rebuild the differential, and it should be ready to drift. So I'm pretty pumped about that. So yeah, guys, thanks for watching, thanks for liking, thanks for subscribing. I really appreciate it. You guys are the best. So yeah, take it easy.